So the Memphis Grizzlies have a track record of being a well-managed franchise overall, like back in the day when they had Mike Conley and Marc Gasol putting up fights against some of the best teams in the Western Conference, and they were always well-coached, well-managed, and a promising franchise who obviously hasn't had too much success in terms of championships. But if you're new here, once a week, every week, I take a team starting from the worst in the NBA to the best, and I talk about how I think they can angle themselves towards an NBA championship, whether that's next year, 5 years, or 10 years. I talk about what I think they need to do to get there. Today we have the Memphis Grizzlies, the Ja Morant-led Memphis Grizzlies. And like I said, they have a good track record of being a well-managed franchise, and it's no surprise to me that they have their franchise player in Ja Morant, pieces like Jaren Jackson and Dillon Brooks, and honestly, looking good moving forward. But obviously, the Grizzlies aren't quite there yet. They're still young. I mean, they snuck into the playoffs, snuck an 8th seed, being led by Ja Morant, a 22-year-old player, is leading them to the playoffs, which is impressive. Obviously, players like Dillon Brooks have kind of come out of their shell and shown that they can actually be a valuable piece. Jaren Jackson's been dealing with some injuries, but when he's playing, Jaren Jackson is a great player who has such a high ceiling. But one thing I'm talking about is Ja Morant. Like, I see people talking about and asking the questions, is Ja Morant a franchise player for the Grizzlies? Can he be that guy? And this past year he put up 19 and 7, which is not, numbers are numbers blowing you out of the water. Wow. But I think Ja Morant's value comes past just his numbers. Like, it's his second year. I'm not too crazy about the numbers, staring at the numbers for a player who's been in the league 2 years. What I see in Ja that is more valuable than the numbers necessarily is his leadership. This man is 22 years old, and he is a clear-cut leader. You can see it in him. He has that dog mentality. He'll get after it, and he's the type of guy that people will get behind and play hard for. Like, did you see how well they played as a team? Like, they didn't, like I said, they didn't make much noise, but as a team, you've seen glimpses of a really good squad out there. And that is being led by Ja Morant. Never mind his athleticism, which is out of this world. But one thing with Ja's athleticism, it scares the hell out of me when he lands, because when he lands, it really looks like he's going to get injured every time. And I do not want to see Ja Morant face a bad injury. So I hope he could somehow land safer, because he always lands like awkwardly on one leg, and that's how D-Rose got hurt, and that just scares me every time I see Ja Morant coming down. Moving forward for the Grizzlies, I would look to keep this young core in Ja, Dillon Brooks, Jaren Jackson, because they obviously like playing with each other, and I feel like Dillon Brooks and Ja Morant are a cool duo. I feel like they mesh well together, how they play. But with that being said, I don't know how high of a ceiling I see Dillon Brooks having. Like, I'm not doubting him, but I can't tell if I see him capping off his potential, or if he has, like, max, I would say, CJ McCollum type potential, and that's no knock. CJ's a baller and borderline all-star, I would say. But can I see Dillon Brooks getting there? I am not 100% sure. I don't think he will surpass that. Like I said, no hate, just my prediction. And with Jaren Jackson, kind of the same thing, but I see his ceiling a little higher. I see his ceiling like Bam Adebayo. I feel like he could start, staying healthy and really working on his game. I feel like he can be a really good player. But here's a big but. This might be a little bit of a cliche comparison, but I see Ja Morant very similar to Russ, and also in a way that I don't know if Ja will ever be able to be the best player on a team. Like, look at Russ. Like, Russ is a very good player and was a very good player, especially in his prime, but they were only dangerous when he had someone like Kevin Durant with him, someone who's a little bit better, kind of that scorer who's not as much as a leader. Like, Russ, I feel like, was the leader of the Thunder when they were, like, competing for chips, but Kevin Durant was the best player, and I feel like that is a good thing to try and pair with Ja Morant if you're the Grizzlies. You want Ja to have a player who's maybe better than him, but he's the leader of the team. I feel like that would suit them best. And if you have to trade guys like Jaren Jackson or Dillon Brooks to move up in a draft or to get future assets to acquire this type of player, I feel like when Ja gets in his prime, he's still 22. In a couple of years, he's going to be very, very good. But I don't know if he could be the best player. That's no disrespect. I just think that for the Grizzlies to have the most success, they have to pair him with someone who's a little bit better in terms of scoring and just overall offense, because I don't see too much offensive fluidity in Ja's game. Like, I'm not trying to put him down at all. He's a great, amazing player with so much potential. But if you're talking about championships, like, we're talking about championships, like, think about it. Players like Damian Lillard don't even have championships. So that's why with the series, I might be sounding harsh with players, but that's just the truth. If they want to win a finals, they need someone a little bit better than Ja to pair with him so that they can have the perfect combo to compete for a championship. Just one way I can see them competing, or we can take another route, a D Rose route, where D Rose was leading the Bulls. Like, he was a very good player, and he had very good pieces on his team. Like, if D Rose stayed healthy, that Bulls team would have been pretty scary with Jimmy Butler too. Like, if it's Ja who is competing, D Rose is an MVP level player. If Ja can get up there, top 10, top 8 players, and then Dylan Brooks becomes a little bit better than I think, Jaren Jackson steps into a role, they get some other pieces, I feel like they can be a scrappy, tough team, take it down that route like they had it with Marc Gasol and Mike Conley, but obviously do a better job at competing for a championship, because just build it a little bit stronger. Their coaching I'm not worried about, their franchise I'm not worried about, but having that strong team, I could see them doing that over getting a player to pair with Ja, because it seems more realistic with the squad they have and the way they've been drafting and trading players. Like, if you're the Grizzlies, you should be very, very happy to have a player like Ja Morant on your squad. Someone who, first of all, gains so much attention from the media and from his flashy dunks, and he has so many fans, to having a leader and someone you can build with in the future. That is so valuable, and I think the Grizzlies are actually sitting very, very pretty than they have in a long time. But that is the Memphis Grizzlies for you. Next week, we have the 8th seed in the East. I don't even remember off the top of my head who that is, but I will catch you guys then. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. Most of you guys aren't even subscribed. But I will catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.